We just finished talking about cash flow projections. We had a good discussion. Now, in the second part of our boot camp, we're going to talk about budget, pricing, and business model. Okay. So why is this important? Well, the thing is, to live the life you want, and this may sound kind of hokey, but I'm telling you, I've been in business 15 years. And I remember when I started, and I have lots of clients. And so I remember when I started, and as I watched my clients grow, it's almost like the business runs them, or it used to run me. It used to tell me what to do, when to wake up, what to do, how much time I spent with my son. And that's not good, because I'll tell you what happened when I let it do that. I got divorced because I was working on the business all the time, doing what it told me to do and not really running my business. I was just working, and my wife got tired of that, right? So, I'm very honest and open about it. And that's why I spend so much time talking about this, because it's real. I mean, your business is, it's how you get money, but it has a major effect on everything else in your life, especially if you do it full time. So it's very important that you understand that you have to run your business. You have to get to a place where you're working on the growth of your business, as opposed to being in the day-to-day of your business. And here's what I mean. Okay. When we talk about, in this section, budget, pricing, and business model, these things they all work together so you can live the life you want to live. Because when I left my corporate job 15 years ago, I left because I didn't want to work for anybody anymore. I wanted freedom. And then I started working, and I was basically just created a new job for myself. I was like a slave. I just took whatever jobs came to me. I did whatever they told me to do. And I was scared all the time because I wasn't planning. I was just doing. And so we have to get away from that. We have to get to a place where, and that's what the cash flow projections is for, that we're planning out the things we're going to do. And then looking for clients, hear this part, look for clients that'll pay you at a level so you can achieve your goals. Revenue should drive behavior. If they can't afford to pay you, then they're not your client. And that may say, oh, that's easy to say, Will, I'm just getting started. You've been doing this a while. Let me tell you, it's maybe it sounds easy to say, but I've been through it. I remember, and I just shared in the earlier part, when I went from getting $1,000 per website to 10,000, all because I had a different size customer, same effort. So let's talk a little bit more about what I mean by this, how these things work together. So first and foremost, you need to set goals. You need to have a money goal, because money drives behavior. Revenue drives behavior. Profitability drives behavior. And what does that mean, right? So if you want to make $120,000 this year in your business, that means 12 months, you should probably make at least $10,000 a month, right? Simple math. Okay, so that $10,000 a month is how much? $2,500 a week. If you're open 5 days, that's $500 a day that you have to make. A good friend of mine gave me some advice that really changed my life, changed my business. Before I started my company, I used to build call centers. I would work for companies, and I'd help them create call centers where service level is very important. Like, answering the phone really fast, being available for customers. That was like my mindset. So when I started my company, I used to treat it the same way. People would call, hey, it's Will Holmes Consulting. Like, no matter what time of the day, whatever, no matter what I was doing, I was treating it like I was still a call center rep. People would email me, I'm emailing them right back. And so this friend of mine, who's a successful business owner, shared this with me. He's like, well, because I was sitting there with him and I was taking phone calls. He was like, are these calls that were planned? I was like, no, they're possible customers. And most actually the calls were like salespeople calling me, trying to sell me stuff. And he's like, look, I appreciate the fact you want to have great customer service and all that stuff. But the thing is, you're hurting your money. I was like, oh, what do you mean? I'm making sure that customers can get me. He says, that's the wrong way to look at it. This is not a call center. That's what he said. It's not a call center. You have to manage your business. You have to manage your day. You have to plan your day. And more importantly, instead of taking all these phone calls and answering all these emails real fast, the first thing you need to be worried about is hitting your money goal. And the way to do that is the first thing you do every day is work on the thing that can make you the most amount of money the fastest. Then you work on the thing to make you the second amount of money the second fastest. And the third largest amount of money the third fastest. The fourth amount the fourth fastest. After you make your money that day, then you can answer the phone or answer your little emails. Or even better, since you made your money, you pay somebody to do that. Let me tell you, that changed my life. I went from constantly being available to clients to constantly focusing on getting money. And my revenue tripled. Just like that. So it's because revenue drives behavior. And to make it even more, put a finer point on it, think about if I said to you, okay, look, today, all you got to do is make $1. You might mess around, talk to folks on the phone. All right, girl, you know what? I need to go ahead and make this $1 today. Let me just, make a call real quick. You get your $1, you're done. Okay. If I said you needed to make $10,000 today, it would be different. Either you count yourself out and say, oh, I can't do it. Or you would be on the phone, you'd be sending emails, you'd be planning things out, reaching out to past customers, all those people who didn't pay you, people who owe you money. Your energy's different. Your actions are different. I call it discretionary effort. You choose when you want to go a little harder. The thing is, though, you got to use that every single day to get this money, to hit your goals. Because if you're doing it, your people will see you doing it, and they will go hard too. And you'll hit your goal. So you need to have a revenue goal. How much money total I'm going to make this year? But that should not just be I want to make 6 figures. People say that all the time. It should really be based on, okay, I looked at my cash flow projections. For me to be able to pay myself after expenses, that's at least like $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 just to pay myself. Then my business expenses that I figured out, that's another $100,000. That I want to have profit in the company, because paying yourself and profit, that's something totally different. Having actual capital in the company, that's different. And I want to have $30,000, $40,000 in the company. So 40 that in the company just to kind of have, there to buy stuff or reinvest or whatever. Then, 80 to pay yourself, that's 120. Another 80 or so for expenses, that's 200. So you got to make $200 in revenue just to have so you can have the kind of profit you want and then pay yourself too. So what I said before about, at $500 a day, now all of a sudden that's $1,000 a day you have to do in sales because you did your cash flow projections. And now you really know, okay, either I've got to make $1,000 a day, either I've got to sell more stuff or increase my prices. So next, sales and marketing metrics. You need to measure. So once you set your revenue goals, and you could say, okay, here are my expenses, but here's how much I need to make in sales to make this happen. And your team should know it. But guess what? For them to be able to sell, you've got to do marketing. And you've got to know, okay, for me to hit, let's say 10 sales today, I've looked at my past numbers, and that means marketing needs to produce at least 100 leads a day. So, at least 100 people need to call in today or send in inquiries. We usually close like 10 to 20%. I at least need 10% to close. So that means that my marketing team needs to generate 100 leads a day or 500 leads a week or 2,000 leads a month. What's the cost of that marketing? See how it starts to build on itself? It starts to help you to figure things out. Then okay, well, if it's $2,000 for my marketing, and then I got to pay my salespeople a certain amount, and I get 10 sales out of that money, then now I know my cost per sale. And you can then measure that month to month to figure out, am I doing better or not? You'll know if you make, and then you can also, if you're measuring your profit each month, if you're measuring quantity and quality, if you're measuring, how can you reduce costs in certain areas to create more efficiency? And then on top of all this, right, you should be looking at this like, okay, well, what other measurements are there to measure the success? Like for me, it's being able to spend time with my son, being able to travel. Like that's really the reason that's it. I want to make sure I spend time with my son. I want to travel, and also I want to have a lot of money to leave him when it's time. That's it. That's what I work for. That's my why. So you have to figure out what is your why and what you need to do in order to do that. Okay. Now let's go into your business model. Now, everybody sells on this call, and everybody sells different things. It's different industries. But what I want you to think about is really how do you want to live your life, and what kind of business model will really support that. And so what does that mean, right? So this diagram that I made, I know at first it may look kind of weird, look kind of complicated, but let me explain it to you, right? So these red lines right here, this red line across this horizontal red line, where it says day to day, that lets you know, okay, day to day, either if you're above the red line, you're not involved in the day to day of the business. If you're below the red line, you and those people are involved in the day to day of the business. You're making cupcakes. Okay, I'm gonna use a cupcake analogy for the next few minutes. So if you day to day, if you're above it, you don't have powder or flour on your nose. You don't get your hands dirty. But if you're below that line, you are baking cupcakes. And so these vertical red lines, these really separate the different scenarios. So there's scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3, scenario 4, scenario 5. Also, I want you to see where it's each of these little circles, they really represent people. Okay. Now in scenario 1, this one circle, that's you. Scenario 2, it's this one circle, that's you. Scenario 3, this circle is kind of part way in the day-to-day, part way out, that's you. Scenario 4, a little bit out of the day-to-day, but still a little bit in the day-to-day, that's you. Scenario 4. And then scenario 5, totally out of the day-to-day. That's you. The rest are the people who work for you. They could be employees, 1099s, part-time, full-time, whatever. Okay. Let me explain what this really means. The green, when you say the green on these people, what that really represents, and you see that some of them have a little more green than others, that's the money you're getting off of their efforts. Okay. See, as a business owner, you have to choose. Do you want to get 100% of your money off of 100% of your efforts? Or do you want to get 100% of your money off of 10% of 10 people's efforts? Or 25% off of 4 people's efforts? It's your choice. You have to choose, like, do I want to manage all these people, or do I want to, just want it to be me? Who's making the cupcakes? So scenario 1, as you can see, scenario 1, this is you. And there's very little green, all blue. See, the blue are business expenses. See, this person hasn't been through this class in scenario 1. All the money they make, see, they didn't do their cash flow projections. They know to make cupcakes, there's a certain amount of money that they have to pay to make their cupcakes, as far as to get the ingredients and all that stuff, and to keep the lights on and keep the oven hot. They know that. They do a basic budget. They know that, right? But they're not charging enough money. And there's a lot of inefficiencies. And they have a little bit of money that's left over, but they can't spend that on themselves. They've got to use that to make more cupcakes tomorrow. So all the money that they make goes into basic expenses. No money really left over, very little money left over for them to do anything for themselves or their family. Okay? They are making cupcakes 12 hours a day. every day. That's it. By themselves. They're doing the cupcake making. They're selling it. They're on Instagram promoting it. They're doing everything for the rest of their lives. That's scenario one. Scenario two. Now this scenario two realized, okay, well in scenario one, I was charging $3.49 per cupcake. I realized that was not enough. I didn't value the deliciousness of my cupcakes enough. So at $3.49, I was working 12 hours a day and not really making any money and undervaluing my cupcakes. But that's scenario one. But scenario two, guess what? I'm selling them for $3.69 now. Whereas, I'm selling for a little bit more money. And guess what? Look at this. And that allows me to, I have profit now. I can put a little money to the side for my retirement and my investments. I can, guess what? I can, maybe buy some more ads. Whatever I want to do with the money, I can do it now. But I'm still in the day-to-day making cupcakes all day. Scenario three, you know what? I'm going to sell my cupcakes for a little bit more. Maybe $3.79. And so now, but I'm still making some cupcakes, but I'm out of the day-to-day a little bit. I can see the light. I actually get to, I don't have to work 12 hours a day. I just work 8. And the rest of my team, I got 3 people. Because I'm charging more for my cupcakes, I can hire some folks. And they're in there making cupcakes all day. And I can actually go home and see my family. And have a little money left over. Because I'm see their efforts. Part of it, of course, goes to pay them. But the other part of their efforts goes to me. I'm making money off of them. Scenario 4. You see here's a little different. See, now you got 4 people working for you. 3 of them are just like in scenario 3. They're in there making cupcakes. You pay them in the blue, the green, that goes to you. This person right here, what are they doing? They're mostly blue, a little green on top. Well, they're your administrative person. You're going to need that at some point. Someone who answers those emails and takes those phone calls and does your marketing for you, does your bookkeeping. They maybe they're dual use. Maybe they even do some sales for you, or maybe they even make some cupcakes from time to time. But most of the time, though, they're administrative. And you're mostly out of the business because this person is taking a lot of that off of you. But you still make cupcakes every once in a while. Somebody gets sick, they're still in there making cupcakes. But for the most part, you're out. And then here's scenario 5. And that's because you raise your price. So let's say $3.49, $3.69 for scenario 2, maybe $3.79, scenario 3, $3.89, scenario 4, but $3.99 a cupcake. Wow, look at this. You're totally out of business. You're off looking to open up more cupcake shops. And your team, they're in there making it happen, baking cupcakes. This one person, once again, they're mostly administrative, but the rest of them are in there making cupcakes. It's been so long since you made a cupcake, you forgot how to make cupcakes, but you know how to open up some cupcake shops that work really well and that are profitable. And look at this. See, there's no green on you. That means your money comes totally from the efforts of others. So you're working on growing your business. You're not working on the day-to-day. Now, the thing is, I'm not saying that any of these are wrong. You have to choose the life you want to lead. You have to choose the business model that you want to have. You may not want to have 9 people working for you. There's a lot of risk and liability that's involved. There's a lot of capital that's involved to get to that point. You may not have it, may not want to do it. You may want to be scenario 2. It's just you. Single member LLC, you're making it happen. And you have some money left over. Great. You have to choose based on the lifestyle you want to lead, the kind of time you want to have, how much work you want to put in. But just bear in mind that if you're scenario 1 and you're in there making cupcakes all the time and you don't really have anyone helping you, if you get sick, no money coming in. Scenario 5, you get sick, there's still money coming in. Now, I also want to talk about once again, access to capital. We're going to talk about that at the end. But I also want you to explain, I'm going to explain something to you super important that you understand. Let's say person A wants to make cupcakes, and they don't really have like rich family or friends. They don't really have any money saved up. They got a little bit. Maybe they got their 401k. It's a little bit of money in their 401k. They're going to roll over into a like a single single K or whatever they call it, and then they're going to use that and take that money and they're going to start their business. But it's not a lot of money. Person B, both of them are equally smart, equally talented, right? But person B, let's say their family has a lot of money, and they have rich family and friends, and they have great credit. And let's say the person A had decent credit, but person B has great credit, rich family and friends. Here's what usually happens, okay? Both of them, like I said, equally talented. Let's say they both can equally make a delicious cupcake. Person A will probably start off here, scenario one, and over years, work their way up, hopefully to 5, scenario 5. Takes them years because they don't have an influx of capital so that they can hire people on day one. So it takes them years to put money to the side to get to the place where then they can open up a shop and a bigger shop and they can pay people. Person B, they can go to their family and friends and get that $60,000 to renovate the shop, or that $100,000 to cover the cost of expenses of paying people for the first 6 months. So they can go and get that $160,000, $200,000 business loan or that line of credit. And they jump on day one right to scenario 5. There's no difference in talent, no difference in business idea, anything. It's just access to capital. So I want you to really understand that. And also, because the thing is, person A, it may take them a long time to get there, but also person A, though, if they gotta have, they gotta get their credit together, but they also really need to understand their numbers, their cash flow projections, because that's the language in which lenders speak. And they're going to want you to be able to explain what you're going to use this money for this, that they're going to loan you. And if you can't do that, that's why we started with cash flow projections. If you can't do that, you're not going to be able to get yourself a loan. All right. So I'm going to go on to one more slide to kind of put a finer point in this. And then so if you have any questions or comments, let me know how this is resonating with you. Let me know if this is making sense. Type something in the chat. Type some questions in the chat. We're going to take questions in just a little bit. But I just want to put a finer point on it. So remember my cupcakes I was talking about? See, $3.49. See, look. So here's this nice, delicious. See, I like lemon cupcakes with lemon icing. That's why I chose this. Right? I love cupcakes. I don't know how to make them, but I do like to eat them. And so look at this beautiful, delicious cupcake. Right? $3.49. See this red line? Okay. So at $3.49, it's just enough. If you're selling your cupcake for $3.49, that's just enough to cover this month's expenses or to make this batch of cupcakes and tomorrow's batch of cupcakes. No real money left over. You're doing all the cupcake baking. You're doing all the marketing. You're doing your own books. You're updating your website. You're working all day. No fun. That sucks. But at $3.99 though, you figured it out. You did your cash flow projections and you're like, oh, wait a second, 50 cents more per cupcake. I can pay someone to do my marketing. I have enough money to cover my utilities, cover my rent. I have enough money that now I can have a team of people in there working. I can go off and look at other investments because I have money to this. I can put money, each cupcake, let's say it's 3 cents or 5 cents a cupcake, goes to funding my new investments. It goes to paying for my retirement. There's 5 cents or 10 cents or whatever goes to profit for every cupcake. Because see, I know my numbers. I know now what I need to do to have a more successful business. You may say, well, Will, wait a second. What about my old customers? They may not want to pay $3.99. Okay, well then you need to find some customers that will. And that may sound like super easy, right? Like, oh, it's easy to say. Oh, they may not. Well, look, then that's where marketing comes in. I mean, one of my favorite things I love every time I'm on the road and I see a Honda and I see an Acura, or you see a Toyota and a Lexus, or whatever other car company that has like an economy version and then like a high luxury version. Same car, same engine. I mean, maybe a couple little differences, but on the luxury version, maybe they have leather. Maybe it has navigation, right? Maybe it's got like some extra plastic on the front that makes it look fancy. That's what you got to do with your cupcakes. I'm not saying put plastic on your cupcakes, but I'm saying with some creative marketing, you'll find people that not only will pay $3.99, maybe even $5.99 a cupcake. So then you have the Cadillac of cupcakes. You have the gourmet cupcakes in your area. Same cupcake, better marketing. And and like I said, as entrepreneurs, we don't think about, see, when you work for somebody, it was, oh, I can't afford it because somebody else controlled your money. See, now as entrepreneurs, it's no. It's not I can't afford it. It's how can I afford it? We use this and we think about ways to make it happen. All right. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into the Q&A. I want to check in with you all. I'm going to end this recording so of course we can have open discussion without worry of your questions being recorded. So once again, this is Will Holmes for the WHC Baltimore Business Bootcamp. End of this recording. I want to thank everyone for continuing to listen and participate. We're going to take our Q&A and then we'll be back for the next session.